Hello everyone, welcome back to our subject web technology. So in the previous topic so far what we have seen is all about DOM and making some changes in the using the style element, and we have seen about intrinsic event handling. So those are some of the attributes for HTML elements. Okay, so like on mouse over, on mouse out, on double click, on click, on load. So some of the attributes that are associated with the HTML elements we have seen. So during the while discussing that topic, I have told you, so we should avoid using that intrinsic event attributes, so that is not recommended. Though we could use those things, the recommendation is highly for using using DOM event handling. So that's the topic we are going to see it. So apart from intrinsic event attributes, what are all so we could add our own methods. Okay, so those are the things we are going to see it in today's topic. It's quite interesting, and I'm going to take a few demo versions of the event handlings. Okay, so event, as you know, that where event is nothing but when you click a button, that is an event. When you press a key, that is an event. Okay, so to make your web page more interactive, so that should have an events. Okay, so we have, so that we could interact with the web page, and while interacting, so when we click a button, so it takes us to some respective page, is it not? So to handle that one, we need the event handling. Okay, so some of the events is nothing but clicking a button, hovering over the mouse, or hovering over the anchor element, drag and drop, pressing the key. So a lot of things are said to be the events. So it's mainly focusing on interacting. Okay, it provides user interaction. So instead of simply displaying the static content, the web page provides more interactive to the user, and that interactivity we could achieve using a DOM feature. Okay, by means of JavaScript we could interact the web page. Okay, so some of the events like selecting an element and then add an event listener. So it means what? So when you press a button, so that is said to be an event. So after pressing, what should happen? So it should take some appropriate action when you press the button, is it not? So that is said to be event target, and that should handle the event. So by means of event listener, we could achieve the target event. Okay, so for example, listening for a click. Okay, so click is an event. So when you press a button, so that is said to be a click event. So here the target is the target element is button. Okay, so when you press the click on the button, it should handle the respective event, is it not? Then listening for a hover event in any of the HTML elements, listening for a key press event on text input. Okay, so each and every event has mainly two properties, like the type of the event and the target event. So type of the event is like the click event, hover event, key press, mouse over, mouse out, on load, so on double click. So those are the events we have seen as an attribute for the HTML elements in intrinsic event handling. And the event target is nothing but the node corresponding to document element that generates the event. So what does it mean? Node means, as I told you, the web page will be visualized as a document object model tree structure manner. Okay, so and each and every element, the comments, and document type, declaration, the text element, everything will be viewed as a node, is it not? So here the event target is nothing but the node that corresponds to the particular HTML element which generates the event. For example, so button. So button is an event target. When you press the when you click on this button, so that's so an event gets generated and that needs to be handled. Okay, so here the target event is nothing but the button. Okay, so the topics document event handling is quite interesting. So just listen carefully how to add event listener. So event listener is nothing but it's a function, so that is called when an event instance so that is called with event instance when a certain event occurs. So when an event occurs, that should be handled. So handling is done by a separate function by means of JavaScript event listener named as add event listener. Okay, so this is the special JavaScript event listener function, add event listener. Okay, so for example, to generate an event for the button, so we need to add the event listener for the button. Okay, so here the element targets the target element button dot add event listener. So this is the special method that handles the event. Okay, so and the first argument the first element here, this element is nothing but the target element, target event or the event target. It's nothing but in this example, so if we press a button, so button is the target element, and here the function add event listener which takes 3 arguments. The first argument is the type of the event. So what we did for the element, whether we press the key or we hover over the mouse or we click the mouse, so those are the event type. First argument we need to mention the type of the event, and the second argument is the event handler. So it takes us to the respective function definition to handle the event. And third one, this use capture. This is an optional argument, the third argument. Mostly it will be false, or we could omit this for third argument. So it will be used when a situation like event propagation. So in the forthcoming slides I will take you what the third argument says in detail. So right now you just assume that the third argument takes false value, or simply we could limit to 2 arguments. Okay, and see here, so one example for adding the event listener for the button element. So by you have the HTML element button, click me, and the paragraph, this is the HTML element, and in the background JavaScript, what you are doing, you are retrieving the button. Okay, by means of the query selector, or you can go for get element by ID if you mention the ID over this for this button. So a number of ways of retrieving the element. Okay, so here we are using the query selector button, and this is represented as an object now with the object name as button, and similarly we are retrieving the paragraph element and representing it as a paragraph object. And what we are doing, we are adding the event listener for the button. So button dot, so this button is nothing but this object. Okay, so button dot add event listener. So the first event is click. So first argument is type of the event. When you click the button, so call this function. Okay, so here we are calling it immediately. Okay, so that's what you don't have, you didn't mention about the function name. Usually the function will have the format as function name and the parenthesis which takes the argument. So here in this add event listener, we are defining the function immediately, so there is no need of function name. So this is one different way of defining the function. Here function, it takes no arguments, and inside the function definition, what we are doing, we are changing the content of the paragraph. So paragraph dot text content is equal to someone click the button. Okay, so what's the logic behind this code? So it will display a button on the paragraph with this content. When you click the button, the paragraph content will be changed to someone click the button. Okay, so that's the event. Okay, so we are clicking the event and the event is handled using this event handler. Okay, and here is the another way of defining the function. So see here, so here button add event listener, first argument is the event type, second argument is the function call. Okay, so without any parenthesis you are mentioning it. So this will this is an equivalent of function call, and so as usual normal function definition in JavaScript you used to write now. So that type of function you are defining it. So function name, and within the body of within the body of this function you are writing it paragraph text content is someone click the button. Okay, so you could prefer either one of this way of defining the functions to handle the events. And so just I am not taking you to the demo part because the coding is already displayed over here. So here just go on, it's for practice purpose, purely for practicing. Okay, so just I will explain, you just practice it. Okay, so here is the web page that has one header field and one paragraph and 4 list items, whether this is ordered or unordered list item. Yes, you are right. This is unordered list item because the list items are displayed in a bullet. Okay, so this is an unordered list item. 4 list items are there. So what's the concept or the logic behind this code is, when I click any one of the list item, the content or the text content of this list item is changed to pink. Okay, so just design this HTML page and have the JavaScript in a separate file and include it using the script element, or directly here what I did is I am using the Chrome console to interact with this page. Okay, so just open this page and right click, inspect, and go to console, and you could interact it at runtime. And once after closing this console, so you won't have any interaction. That's the disadvantage when you go for console. So better I advise you to have this code in a separate JavaScript file and you include this in the HTML document. Okay, so what we did, we are selecting this list item. Okay, so we are retrieving the list item by means of query selector all. So all means it will list, it will return as an array. Okay, so LIS list. Now this is an array, so that contains 4 items because here in this HTML document we have 4 list item. Okay, and what we are doing, use the loop to retrieve each and every element. So what we are doing, so using the loop, what we did, we are adding the event listener for each and every list item, and it will respond only when the event click event is happen. Okay, so see here, so just you omit this code, this is an extra code that does nothing, just concentrate this part. So list item, for each and every list item add event listener click comma function. So what you are doing, so when you click any one of the list item, so change this style, this means current list item. If you click this one, this list item, if you click the first list item, this will point to this content. Okay, this dot style dot color is equal to pink. Okay, so I hope you understood the logic behind this program. Okay, and this is one more exercise you could try by your own. To the concept is toggle the body background color when to purple and white when a button is clicked. Okay, so just go and design the HTML page that carries the body, and inside the body you include only one button with the text as click me, and the logic is if you click the button, if the body background is white, it changes the purple, and if you click the click me again, it toggles to white. Okay, so toggle means switching back and forth between white and purple color. Okay, you could give a try, and if you want you could refer the code also here. Okay, and moving on, discussing other types of events, as we have seen already about intrinsic event attributes like on mouse, on click, on double click, on key press. So apart those are intrinsic event attributes. So here MDN, which stands for Mozilla Developer Network, it provides around 300 different varieties of events, and we are here I am listing only few events like click, mouse over, double click, key press, and drag. So if you want to get know each and every events that was supported, you could visit this link to get know all the different types of events that was supported by DOM. Okay, and here we are going to see some of the mouse events like click, mouse down, mouse up, mouse move, mouse over, and mouse out. So previously we have seen something with the on, is it not? So on click, on mouse down, on mouse up, those are the attributes for the HTML elements which we have seen in intrinsic event handling. So if you omit that prefix on, so these are the events supported in DOM. Okay, so events that occur when the mouse interacts with the HTML document are said to be the are said to be the mouse events, and those events are handled by the mouse event objects. Okay, so apart from the event instance like event type and the event target, so we have some other attributes, some other additional properties for mouse events like client XY. So client XY means in the browser window there is a client area, and when you can click anywhere in the client area and have and you could enable the click event. Okay, so that coordinates are retrieved by the properties client X and Y, and this is instead of the client area, here the entire screen X and Y. And this is about button means clicking the mouse leftmost button or the second leftmost button. So likewise, which button gets pressed, you could retrieve all the values using this property button, and some other additional properties are supported for mouse events. Okay, and so here what on one demo I am going to have it for handling the mouse over and mouse out event. Okay, so here what's the logic behind this mouse event? So you have a paragraph in the HTML element, and you are retrieving the object of this paragraph by means of document.query selector paragraph. Then what you are doing, you are adding the event listener. So for this paragraph object, what you are doing, mouse over. When you mouse over the paragraph, call this function. What that function says, change the content of this text to change the content of the paragraph to stop hovering over me. Okay, so if you mouse over the paragraph, the content of the paragraph is changed to stop hovering over me, and when you take the mouse out, the content is put back something like phew, thank you for leaving me alone. Okay, it's quite funny. The logic behind is how to interact with the paragraph element at runtime. Okay, so those facilities are those features are provided only by means of DOM, and we could achieve it that interactivity via, yes, you are right, JavaScript. Okay, I'll take you the demo part, the same program. See here, HTML root element, header section, title, and in the body you have the paragraph element just displaying something, try me using your mouse, and the JavaScript I have included the coding directly using the script element, and I keep on repeating it. So for simplicity and for the demo purpose, I have given the script code directly in the HTML, but in real time you have to prefer to write this in a separate file, JavaScript file, and have to include it in the header part. Okay, and the same coding is repeated here, and let's see the demo part. Okay, so initially while displaying, this paragraph element is displayed, and when I go for interaction, so interaction in the sense, so here two interactions, mouse over and mouse out. So on the paragraph, when I mouse over, see here the thing gets changed, the paragraph content is changed to stop hovering over me. So right now till it is on, the mouse is over the paragraph. If I take it out, the thing gets changed. When I move the mouse out, the content gets changed. Okay, this interactivity by means of DOM. Okay, the DOM provides this interactivity via JavaScript. And one more example, mouse over and mouse out, same thing. It's just you try it. Okay, so the here the logic is just for practice purpose. I'm keep on giving some of the examples. Okay, you just practice it only by practice, so you'll get familiar with all those events. Okay, so again the same mouse over and mouse out. The logic behind is you have the three list items, unordered list item, and what you're doing when you mouse over the one of the list item, so the color is changed. Okay, so here currently, so in the middle, so if you mouse over here, the color of the list item gets changed, and when mouse is out, so the color is put back to the normal. And when you click event is enabled in this list item. When you click, what will happen? Strike through a line pass through the list item. Okay, with opacity as 0.5. Opacity means it tells about the transparency. Okay. Color change, and so color change in the sense, initially the color is normal color black, and when you mouse over it, the color changes to green, and when the mouse is when you move the mouse out, so remove the color change, so the color gets the green color is changed. Okay, so for this I have included the CSS file for changing the color and line through it when you click the list item. And the only thing is you need to design this HTML document. Okay, that contains 3 unordered list items. Okay, and just practice it by including this JavaScript code. And this is one more exercise. So so here counting events. Okay, so as I told you, I think around 300 different events are supported by Mozilla's developer network. So if you go to this link, you'll get all the events, and here a simple exercise, it counts the number of table rows, so something like that. Okay, so you visit this site and explore it in console by having these queries, and you'll get know so how many table items are there in this web page, and how many table rows are there, and you could count the number of events. Okay, by using this query, document.query selector all table row dot length minus table dot length. Okay, those are all for practice purpose. And now moving on to document event types and window level events. So document event types are the events which are similar to HTML intrinsic events, except we need to drop the on prefix Okay, so like on click means here the DOM event is click. So in HTML intrinsic event, if the event is on double click means here in DOM event type is double click. Okay, so except a few events like key press, key down, key up and double click. Okay, so except these four events, you have to drop the on prefix in the HTML intrinsic events. Okay, so if you drop it, those are the events supported for DOM. Okay, and followed by window level events. So window level events are has three events like error, resize and scroll. So these are applied to this window object. Okay, so error in the sense something went wrong in the window, and resize and scroll. So these are the events that are generated by the window object. Okay, so something an example. So window dot add event less than error comma. So if something if it's an error message, handle this function. Okay, this function, so message will handle it. And the third argument I'll shortly take you the meaning of it. Okay, event propagation. Moving on to event propagation. So event propagation is a way of defining the element order when an event occurs. So what does it mean? So order in the sense, for example, if I have the event listener for body element, if I click the body element, so that will handle one event. And inside the body I may have a paragraph or heading or some other elements, and those elements may also have the click event, is it not? So now the conflict arises. When I click the paragraph, which event will be serviced first, either the click event by the body or the paragraph? Okay, there is the conflict. So that conflict can be resolved by means of two things called as bubbling and capturing. Okay, so event propagation means, so there are n number of events, there are there are n number of events. Okay, so we need to same events, there are n number of same events, like so body has the click event, paragraph has the click event. So in this situation we need to sort out the order which should be serviced first. Okay, so that's an event propagation, and there are two ways to handle it. One is bubbling and the capturing. Bubbling means the innermost elements event is handled first, followed by the outermost. It means the paragraph click event is handled first, followed by the body click event. Or if we have the division, and inside the division element if we have the paragraph, means the paragraph event click event is handled, followed by the division. And capturing means the division's click event is serviced first, followed by the innermost division element paragraph. Okay, so this is achieved by means of mentioning the third argument true or false. Okay, so by default if you mention the third argument of this add event listener as false, means the bubbling event propagation by means of bubbling will happen. Okay, the default value is false, which will use the bubbling propagation. It means what? The innermost element is serviced first, followed by the outermost. And if you make this as true, means the outermost HTML element will be serviced first, followed by the innermost. So for this I'll take you to the demo. It's quite interesting. Where is it? Event propagation. Okay, see here it's though the code looks a little big, but it's quite simple. Okay, so here we'll come to the body part. I'll always come to the body part, what's happening inside the body. Okay, so where is it? Body, here, the complete complete code. Okay, so here body, inside the body which we have the heading JavaScript add event listener, followed by one division element. So division element is generally, it's a container, it contains this h2 and p that has the respective IDs. Okay, division ID my division 1, H2 has the content bubbling, and the paragraph click me content that has the ID my P1. And here the same thing, the one more division element followed by the script. Okay, so here in the script what we are doing, so we are document.get element id, get element by id my P1. So my P1 is what? Paragraph dot add event listener. So I am doing it all in a single line instead of retrieving the paragraph element and attaching that paragraph object to add event listener. So I am combining that object in this straight single line itself straight away by mentioning document dot get element by id this paragraph. And what you are doing, you are adding the event listener for the paragraph as click. When you click the paragraph, so just display the alert message, you click the white element, and see here this is the third argument. So which is the this is the first argument event type, and the function definition straight away I am giving. This is the second argument for this event listener, and the third argument is false. False means bubbling. Okay, so event propagation by means of bubbling. And next is similarly same thing for division element. Okay, so this one division, when you click the division element, have the display messages, you click the orange element. So the concept is, so in paragraph we have the click event, and in division also click event, which should be service either this one or this one. So this conflict can be resolved by means of this third argument, false. So false, it means what? First the innermost click event for this paragraph will be serviced, followed by the outermost paragraph outermost division element, and the reverse is nothing but making the third element true. Okay, so it means the outermost element is serviced first, followed by the innermost. And here comes the header part. So in the header part, what you're styling it, so styling the division. Okay, so to hash my division 1. Why hash? Because this is an id. Okay, so the css way of styling this element is by using the hash. If here division is of class, means I have to style it using dot. Okay, so here hash division 1 and division 2 has the background color as coral, and the padding is 50 pixels. And this is all about the paragraph of the division 1 and 2, whose background color is white. Font size, some of the styles I have given. And here the meta element, it says about the HTML, this element uses the character set as UTF-8 instead of 16. Okay, quite interesting. I'll take you to the execution of this program. See here, orange, it's display. So this is this is completely the division 1, and this is division 2. Okay, so you have the heading H2 JavaScript add event listener. See here, so inside this division we have the paragraph. So the paragraph is styled using the border, and some spaces are there, background color is white, font size is 20, 1 pixel solid, black in color, padding is 20 pixels all around. Okay, and see here, if I click, I haven't clicked so far, if I click this paragraph, so to the click event will be generated by this paragraph and this division, is it not? So which one has to be serviced first? So for the division 1, we have mentioned in the coding, for the second argument as third argument as false. It means if I click here, first the paragraph alert message will be displayed, followed by the division. Okay, just clicking, you click the white element, see here this one paragraph. Okay, followed by orange element, because the click is applicable to both paragraph and the division element. Okay, so if I click the division element alone, so only the division's alert message will be displayed, so this paragraph is untouched. but if I click inside the paragraph, the two click events are generated, so for the division element and for the paragraph. Okay, and look, now here the reverse one. If I click here, first the division elements event listener will be performed, followed by this paragraph, and you could predict the output now. So if I click inside the paragraph, the output will be, you click the orange element, I think, yeah, you click the orange element now. So what does it mean? By the event propagation capturing is enabled, so it means the outermost click event listener is executed, followed by the innermost click event. Okay, so this is all about event propagation. So very first time it might be a little confusing, but it's quite simple. Just practice this code and it will make your things get cleared. Okay, and followed by the last topic, event cancelling and form validation. So what does it mean? So event cancelling, so by default the browser will provide some of the events, like some example is given here, hyperlink. So by default when you click the hyperlink, it will take us, the browser will load some other document, is it not? Similarly, when you press the button, the browser will provide the default action listener to collect the data from the form. Usually you'll be using it while submitting the form. Okay, so you'll be using the button element, and when you click the button, so by default the browser provides the action event listener to collect the form data and submit it to the HTTP request of the URL. Okay, so we could override this by we could cancel these things. Okay, so when there is a situation like if there is a text box and that text box is we need to enter the text box value. If that is a required field, means we should not allow the form to submit, is it not? So in this situation we could cancel the default browsers add event listener by calling the method prevent default method. Okay, so this will prevent the default browsers event listener. Okay, so that is mainly used in conjunction with form validations. And moving on to general generating some common events. These are some of the common events that is applicable for almost all the elements, like some of the methods: select, focus, click and blur. So each method, this method takes no arguments and no return type. It will generate event indicated by the name of the method. So for example, text field dot select, so it means what? It generates the select event, and to replace the invalid data in text box, select the content of the text box and replace it. So is it not? So to replace the invalid data, we need to select that text box. So the default, or the common event is common event to select the text box is select and click. Focus means these are the element that gets affected by this focus event. So to have the initial focus on these elements, and blur means it has lost the focus. Okay, so these are the elements that don't have the focus right now. So if we use the event as blur. Okay, so these are some of the common events used in DOM2 version. Okay, so I think that's it. We reached the end of the topic, and it's quite interesting topic. We have seen about adding the event listener for different event types of DOM and interacting the web page at runtime. Okay, so whatever the coding I have given, you please practice it, then it makes it clear about the concept. Okay, so that's it, and in the next topic I'll meet you. Till then, thank you all.